Recently, at least in Malaysia, Acer announced the Predator Helios 16 and boy did it get sexier. The Helios has been the in-betweener for Acer Nitro and the Predator Triton. So basically you're getting the Helios laptop for 3 reasons: better build, better thermals, and that Predator goodness. Aside from the RTX GPU, which is half the story of a gaming laptop, this laptop we have here has a 4080 RAID 02TB SSD, 32 gigs of DDR5 RAM, but most importantly, a freaking 13th generation Intel Core i9 processor, more specifically the 13900HX, which is absolutely crazy. The thing is, we have reviewed quite a few i9s so far, but the biggest question for me is that what can you do with it, but do you even really need one? Let's talk all about it in this particular video. Now let's address the Intel goodness regardless of the processor. 13th generation Intel Core processors has come a long way, but let's go back to the 11th generation because that's where things started picking up. We finally got Thunderbolt 3 and/or Thunderbolt 4 port support. Gaming laptop became USB PD capable to give different power output, yet still be able to get that decent level of performance when you don't really need the full potential. Higher frequency DDR5 support and other Intel features like Intel Killer Wi-Fi, PCI Gen 5 support, and most importantly, well, at least for Intel, their competition with you-know-who gets a whole lot exciting. Starting from i5 onwards, we have seen more support for things we have never had before. And back to the Predator Helios 16. There are 2 variants for the Malaysian market. However, both the laptops come with the same Intel Core i9 processor under the hood, but you get the option to choose between the RTX 4070 or the RTX 4080. This really does spark a conversation for me because back a year ago, Intel made it clear that the i9 processor will be all about the raw power for those who need it, which also means that it's for a certain niche user. Truth be told, it's really not for me because I'd be very much happy with an i7 despite relying on a lot of demanding software. But given that the Helios 16 does not come with an i7 or even an i5 for that matter, is the i9 overkill of a processor for a laptop of this caliber? There's a reason why I say that. But for this, we must look at another processor Intel made under the 13th generation. Now, forget about the Predator Helios for a second. Let's talk about the most powerful i7 against the i9 that we see here in this laptop. The 13th generation Intel Core i9, specifically the 13900HX, rips the thread in a consumer laptop. No pun intended. Well, actually that's a very bad pun. Now, we're talking about 24 total cores, which comprises of 8 performance core and 16 efficient core, and a total thread of 32, which is very helpful and hyper-threading task and only available on laptop that has performance-centric processors like this one. And finally, the max boost clock speed is at 5.40 GHz. And then we have the Intel Core i7 13850HX, which goes head-to-head with the i9, by the way. This one has 20 cores, which comprises of 8 performance core and 12 efficient cores. That's 4 efficient core less than the i9. Total threads of 28, which again is 4 threads less, and a maximum boost clock at 5.3 GHz instead. And that's 0.10 GHz less than the i9. Marginal difference, right? The only place where it's the same with both the processor is in its power consumption. Here's the base power it requires, which is 55 watt. The maximum turbo power is actually at 157 watt and the minimum assured power is at 45 watt. Now, one might wonder that since it has marginal power difference, the pricing for these processors should be marginal as well, right? Not quite. While the Intel Core i7 13850HX is priced at $428, this 13th generation Intel Core i9 13900HX is priced at a whopping $668, making it $240 more expensive for marginal power increase. Now, if you really want to check out the technicalities and all that, you can actually head over to the link down in the description below. But the biggest question now is, who benefits from the extra performance of an i9? While yes, the Predator series will remain, and it remains, to focus on making product for gamers, and given that we have seen many gaming laptops to feature the same 13th generation Intel Core i9 under the hood, they are definitely aiming it at gamers. But personally, I feel like the laptop has the power required for more graphic intensive tasks. I'm talking about the creators. I say this because during my entire Computex 2023 trip, I was actually using the Predator Helios 16, but more for editing photos, videos, and more for creation purposes. But for those who follow Acer, right, there's the whole conversation of where's the concept D then? Which I am really not going to get into this video. Actually, if you want to know more, you can go watch our interview, which has, or you might get the answer to that. Now, let's come back here and let's put 2 and 2 together, which is the Predator Helios 16 with the i9 processor. While having such great power in a laptop is too crazy good, I personally think it's overkill for gamers, and many will agree with us too. But if you happen to be the kind of user who isn't going to just game, but you have to work on it, right? Like to do video rendering, 3D animation of that sorts, then yes, this laptop is more of a better fit for you. But in the current times, right, not everybody has the cash to drop a pretty 11,999 ringgit, which is how much this particular laptop cost. But again, it's also pricey because of the following reasons. Now, for one, it has RTX 4080, which is an absolute delight. DDR5 is relatively new. The 2TB RAID 0 SSD racks up the price to be expensive, but you know what? It's actually justified. However, if you still want the i9, but with an RTX 4070, a 1TB SSD, and a decent RAM, which you can upgrade down the line, there is the base variant Predator Helios 16 for 8,999 ringgit, saving you 3,000 ringgit, and hey, you get to experience the Predator Helios 16 goodness, because boy, this laptop did improve a lot. And speaking of improvements, for starters, the Predator Helios 16 has a beautiful 16:10 WQXGA 240Hz refresh rate with 3 millisecond response time display, and it hits 100% of the DCI-P3 color gamut, making it capable for not just gaming but editing tasks as well. Now, under the hood, obviously the processor and the GPU we have spoken requires a capable thermal solution, right? Now, for that, Predator is using their 5th generation Aeroblade 3D metal fans and liquid metal thermal grease for their processors. This new thermal solution that they have incorporated with the Helios 16 is said to offer 55% more airflow and 15% quieter than the previous generation. Now, for those RGB fans out there, this laptop is an absolute RGB galore because the keyboard gets a perky RGB and on the back, it now has more RGB lighting to spruce every room you bring this laptop into. And hey, there is also a little customizable thermal decor which allows you to design your own vents and make the laptop look edgier. And finally, if you think this 16-inch laptop is small for you, there is an 18-inch Predator Helios 18 too for that bigger, monstrous laptop experience. Long story short, if your laptop requirement relies on having both creative work and gaming done in a same machine, this is where the Predator Helios 16 steps in with its crazy powerful processor and the configuration that it comes with under the hood. But you know what? Get ready to develop some muscle carrying this laptop, especially with its 330 watt adapter, because I did exactly that during my Computex, and boy, it was fun. And you know what? Thanks to Acer for sponsoring this video. Hope you have enjoyed this informative video, and if you want to check out or you want to find out more about the Predator Helios 16 and the 18, you can actually head over to the link down in the description below. Thank you so much for watching. We will catch you guys in another video. Until then, this is Prithviraj signing off. Take care, and I'll see you guys real soon. Bye.